Look at me. I'm a bear. I wear a hat. I eat marmalade. Hoo, 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 hoo. That's my impression of Paddington.
Paddington 3, everyone.
Yes. Yeah. Paddington.
Paddington! Paddington! Woo. Paddington!
Welcome to episode 141. Am I right?
I believe so.
Woohoo!
Thomas did it! Yeah. Welcome everybody to Screen Weens episode 141.
Yeah, I am Thomas. That there is the city where the movie we watched today takes place. London.
London.
And yeah, this is Screen Weens. Welcome. Today we're talking about 2 movies featuring a talking bear.
And also a lady that fucks a fish?
No, that doesn't happen in these movies. Although she does have a weird fascination with the sewers in the first one.
That's why.
Yeah. But yeah, aside from that, what's been going on in the life of London?
My TV broke like 2 days ago, so I have to deal with that, which is annoying because it's like, oh, I'm finally in a area where I'm like, oh, I'm comfy with my money. It's like, here I have to spend. It was like, ugh. So that's annoying, but other than that, I've been pretty good. I forgot this creator clash thing was going on YouTube.
Is that like
That's the boxing stuff
with like Super Mega and iDubbbz? And
yeah,
shit? I haven't actually watched any of it. I've just
it happened yesterday. I think I don't know if it's still going on, but I watched like the highlights. Matt got destroyed in like 20 seconds.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he fucking got annihilated.
See, I read a post saying he won.
Yeah, by him. He just said that.
Oh,
he's like, oh,
I fell for the bait.
Ryan, he lost his fight too, but like he stayed for all 5 rounds. He got like his face was like swollen. He got fucked up, but he was giving it his all, and he was he was doing it. And I forgot Aaron from Game Grumps. His fight was against Harley, which is the guy from Epic Mealtime, who is like a behemoth of a man. I'm like, this is not fair.
Yeah. Did Aaron get crushed? I assume?
Aaron lost, yeah. But he lasted a bit. But then I was mostly just skipping through it because I'm like, as much as like I like some of these people, I still don't want to watch people fight. Not really my cup of tea. But yeah, that I was doing that last night. Other than that, what have I been doing? Hinata likes the show Sex Education. I don't know if you've heard of that one. It's like a Netflix original.
With Haley Joel Osment?
No.
I'm thinking of something else involving sex ed and Netflix original. But, okay.
Maybe he's... But no. This one had... I don't know if you heard about the new Doctor Who, the new cast.
Oh, no, I didn't.
It's going to be... a black guy is going to be the Doctor.
I had heard that they were going that direction.
Yeah, but one of the main characters in Sex Education is that person. Which he's really young. That's like I think he's like 29 or... So, like, oh.
Makes sense, because... at least before Jodie Whittaker, is that her name? I stopped watching like partway, like right after Capaldi's finale, but I remember everyone was just like, he's old. So I can see them trying to get back. Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't watch any of Whittaker's. I only watched like half of the first season of Capaldi.
Yeah, I had been slipping hard with the end of Smith's run. Yeah. I think the first part of Smith's run is really good. Like, there's some Smith episodes that I really remember liking. But I went through fatigue with all of them except for Eccleston because he had only been around for 1 season. But I remember even by the end of Tennant's run, I was like, all right.
Alright, let's go. Yeah, no, I might eventually watch Capaldi and then Whittaker.
Yeah.
But for now, I'm just like, I haven't watched Doctor Who in like I guess 5 years. I don't know how long. It's gotta be like 5 or 6 years now. Yeah. Because Capaldi was 3 seasons, right?
I don't even know.
And then was Whittaker 3? I have no idea. It feels like just yesterday Jodie Whittaker was like announced though, so I was like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I was like a freshman in high school when I stopped. So that would have been like 2012.
Well, and then, so yeah, we started watching Sex Education. It has Gillian Anderson. She's like the main character's mother. Smoking.
Yeah.
She is hot as hell. But the show's okay. I'm enjoying it enough. It's like a watchable enough little ditty.
Mm-hmm.
What else have I watched? Playing the board games as usual. Classic London. I haven't watched a lot. I watched one called Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop, which is a cute little Netflix anime film. What a weirdo.
What?
It was cute.
Netflix has anime?
Yeah, and some of it's good. Some of it's garbage. And then I watched The Resonator, the remake / sequel to From Beyond.
Have they released the second part to that yet?
I think it's not on like Tubi. I think you can probably buy it.
I'll wait for Tubi.
I think I liked it maybe a smidge more than you, but I thought it was pretty rough.
Yeah.
I kind of like the final 4 minutes, like the setup for the next one. I'm like, this is fine.
Yeah, I think the actor
he looks, yeah.
I was like, oh, yep, they're definitely leaning in the Jeffrey Combs inspired. Like, it looks like they're just like, can anyone do a really good, like, Jeffrey Combs or West, like, what's the term I'm looking for?
Impersonation? Impression?
Yes. And then they found a guy, and they're like, this is the new Herbert West. So I wish they had maybe tried their own thing with it, but clearly that wouldn't bring in any money, so.
True. Yeah, so that was kind of bad. Me and Hinata watched a movie last night called The Hitcher. I don't know if you ever heard of that one.
Is there a scene where a guy gets, like, pulled apart by, like, semis in that?
A woman does in that. You don't see it. You might have seen the remake. That might happen in the remake.
Yeah, I think so. Because the one I'm thinking of was at least from the 2000s.
Yeah. And they probably just switched the roles in the remake. Yeah, that one, I think the main, like, villain in that is played by Sean Bean. Which is the only reason I kind of want to watch it. But The Hitcher is pretty good. Pretty good. Jennifer Jason Leigh's in it. We just saw her in existence.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. It's just about a guy who picks up a hitchhiker, and the hitchhiker's evil and wants to kill everyone. And there's some really interesting and fun, like, back and forth to watch with him, like when he's in the car.
That's true, by the way. Every time.
Hitchhikers are evil and want to kill you.
Every single time.
Some of the dialogue's very funny, because the main character like pulls up to him, he's like, my mom told me not to do this! And then he immediately is like, I'm gonna kill you. But then, like, he pushes him out of the car, and then he just keeps, like, driving down, and the guy, like, passes him in another car. He's like, holy fuck, don't let him in your car. And then he just keeps finding, like, bodies. And this guy's just literally, like, murdering everyone on this road.
I see.
I think it kind of starts to fall apart towards the end, but it was fun. It was fun. It was like an hour and a half, and it kind of felt a little long for what they were going for, because there's only so much you can do with this.
Yeah.
But it was fun. I liked it. And then, I haven't caught up with Halo. I know a bunch of stuff's been happening in the Halo show that people really fucking don't like, but I think people are just like, oh, it's not like the video game. And I'm like, that's good. The video game's writing's pretty fucking rough most of the time. It's a video game. Most video game writing is bad. Like,
at least from that era, yeah.
Like, yeah. And I think Halo has its moments. Like, it has some interesting ideas, but overall, it's a little rough. I don't know if I talked about this last week, but I found out that the main character, the guy who plays Master Chief, John, he It's Liev Schreiber's brother. I'm like, I didn't even know he had a brother.
Right.
Yeah, so I haven't caught up with that. And I keep almost starting Arcane. And then I'm just like, I don't know.
It's too popular.
I think I'm just afraid. If I don't watch it, then I'm like, it's fine. I don't know. I haven't seen it. But if I watch it and then don't like it, then I'm a hater, you know? And sometimes it's fun to be a hater. Sometimes I don't want to be a hater.
Yeah.
Sometimes I want to be a hater.
It's fair.
But I'm trying to get out of the mood where I'll be like, going into it, be like, this is gonna suck. Because I'm like, no, I want to give something a chance. And right now I'm in the mood like, I'm gonna hate this. And I'm just being a little bitch about it. So I'm waiting until I cool off on that.
That's fair.
So I can actually give it like a fair chance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wait a good while. Hopefully a second season doesn't come out and restoke the flames of its popularity.
And I keep almost picking it for the podcast. Like, I almost picked it last week, but I'm like, Paddington!
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, there's no fucking way Arcane's as good as Paddington 2.
Very unlikely.
Anyway, what have you done this week? Got fired?
Yeah, I got fired.
Did you?
No.
Okay, I thought maybe I'm good at reading today.
Yeah, no, I got fired and then I became a chimney sweep.
Classic.
Yeah. I was inspired by Patterson too, so I looked out for one of those briefcases with a ladder in it. Couldn't find one.
Oh, you said Patterson. I'm like, you started driving the bus?
Did I say Patterson?
Yeah.
Whoops.
Like, sweet.
Oh man, that would have been a double feature.
Paddleton, Patterson, Paddington.
There you go.
Triple P.
Let's see. Yeah, so before I came over here, I rewatched most of Bernie. Still pretty decent.
That Linklater film? Yeah, I was on Criterion Collection, or the Criterion Channel yesterday, and they added a bunch of Richard Linklater stuff, and I saw Bernie. I'm like,
it was on Tubi TV where I was watching, so I was like,
Bernie.
Yeah, because I was looking for something short and sweet. And yeah, I didn't finish it, because that was the real shit I gotta go. But I have like 10 minutes left of the movie, so... and then I rewatched the Evil Dead trilogy.
Classic.
Yeah, it's classics. They're all classics out of 10. It's just great. And then I rewatched the remake again. And I think I've finally started to kind of warm up to it. It's still kind of dog shit in certain areas. But I do respect the horror in the movie quite a bit. Thinking about it, and I was like, yeah, this movie's pretty fucking brutal, and I like that. And sometimes that's all a horror movie needs, because god damn it, the character writing in the movie sure still is not good. And it can't pick a main. It keeps jumping back and forth between like who it wants to be its main character, and that pisses me off.
Yeah, because I'm fine with like killing off a main character and switching to another one, but that's not what that one does. It's just kind of like, let's go back to
Yeah, it's like I feel like they were too focused on playing with your expectations, and then it just like, yeah. I don't want to give it away for people who haven't seen it, but I think what they do with the main character is stupid. But yeah, aside from that, I don't think I really did much else this week. Read the new One Piece chapter. Pretty good.
Oh yeah, I'm behind again. Maybe I'll read those tonight. Cool.
Yeah. So, we talking about Paddleton?
We're talking about Patterson?
We talking about Pickletown?
We're talking about Pickle Rick?
Pickle Rick? We talking about Pogo?
We're talking about
Pledge of Allegiance?
We talking about the Patriot Act?
We talking about Palpatine?
Pac-Man?
Penis. Anyway.
Poop.
Yeah, Paddington came out.
Paddington came out. Did you do that on purpose that time?
No.
Paddington, I think, came out 2014.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2014, second one 2017. Third one, we're waiting.
It was announced, right?
Yeah, Paul King's not directing it, though. Yeah, I think he's still writing it. But Paddington came out 2014, based on a children's book series from like the 60s, 70s.
Is it that old? I mean, I never read the books. I just remember vaguely seeing a couple of the covers when I was a kid.
First book, A Bear Called Paddington, 1958.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's old. He was probably racist.
I mean, maybe.
But new Paddington could never be racist.
Is he? Yeah, I was going to say, was he in those books an allegory for, like, fucking, like, refugees from foreign places like he is in this movie?
I mean, I don't know. I kind of want to pick him up just to, like, have him. Just to be like, Paddington.
Oh, the books?
Yeah. Did you think I meant refugees?
I thought you meant, like, literally Paddington. Yeah, Paddington.
Yeah, the bear? Yeah. I just want to have him. He's so nice.
He does seem like a nice bear.
I could not. Ben Whishaw is such a great voice for Paddington.
Yeah, he does a pretty good job. You would never have to make marmalade again.
I've never had marmalade. I don't think I've ever had marmalade.
I don't think I have either.
Yesterday I was like, I should just make some marmalade right now. It can't be too hard.
According to Paddington, it's not. It's all in the sugar.
Yeah.
That's number 2, though. So
that's true.
So it's a movie about an explorer from Britain. He's like going to Peru and
darkest Peru, not Peru.
Oh,
darkest Peru.
Oh, okay, darkest Peru. Where he finds a couple of bears that have the ability to basically just learn. He teaches them some language, gives them a hat and some names, and leaves. And he's like, if you guys are ever looking for a place to stay, London will give you a warm welcome. And then he leaves. And it turns out, there's no warm welcome.
Yeah.
Because there's a hurricane that kills...
50 years later.
That kills Uncle Kent Bear.
Pastuzo.
So...
The way that this, they frame the shot is literally like the way they frame, disaster movies. Like, Paddington's coming out of the shelter and, it's this, faraway shot of just all the wreckage and he's like Uncle Pastuzo. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And he gets flattened by a tree.
Yeah, they find his hat.
Mm-hmm. I assume they find more. They just didn't show that part.
Yeah.
And then, so the aunt's like, all right, you're going to London and I'm going to a bear retirement home. So she splits ways with him because she's too old and sends him to London with basically just a note that says, hey, I'm looking for a place to stay.
Yeah, he has one of the labels you had on the children during the wartime.
Mm-hmm. So, he waits, and then
everybody's mean.
Yeah, no one looks at him. No
and
one.
I'm like, that's a talking bear, but everybody's like, oh, I'm too busy being British.
Yeah, pretty much. And then one family's walking by, and the dad's like, oh shit, don't.
Oh no.
Don't make eye contact. But the mom does, and...
Because she's delightful.
Yes.
Trust her with my life.
Fair enough. And she opens her heart and her house to the bear. And they're like, we're gonna find that explorer. So they look around, they follow some clues, thanks to the hat. They find out he was part of, some geography cult.
Guild.
Oh, my bad.
I'm in cult. Yeah, no, you're right.
And so then they... bond as a family trying to find Paddington's home. And then, what's it called? Then Nicole Kidman tries to kidnap him. That's who that is, right?
Yeah.
I always get her and a couple other actors mixed up.
Charlize Theron.
No, not Charlize Theron.
I'm just naming actresses.
Nicole Kidman. She really reminds me of someone. I can't think of who.
Jessica Alba.
Sure, why not? Anyway, so yeah, Nicole Kidman's like, I'm the granddaughter to the explorer, and I want to stuff this bear because I'm angry because my grandfather basically like...
I think it was just her father, actually.
Her father, whatever. Her father resigned his position of the cult and took care of animals at a cheap petting zoo for the rest of his life.
He wouldn't kill one of the bears, pretty much. He wouldn't bring back a sample. He's like, they can literally fucking talk. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, and then he wouldn't give up the location either. So they basically, like, struck it from the record and expelled him. Reminds me a lot of Doflamingo's backstory. But anyway. So she wants to stuff Paddington. And... he's got a family now, so they're not going to let that happen. So they track him down, and they save him. And he also inspires hope and warmth through his community. And likes marmalade and wears a hat. And that's pretty much Paddington. It is a good, fun, wholesome family movie. I don't know if you have anything more exquisite.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this movie, I think that, like... what separates this movie from a lot of other family films to me is, like, both this and the second one is, like, I think the direction is actually, like, really strong.
Yeah, there's some good stuff. It's a lot more, like, avant-garde compared to, like, a lot of kids' movies. Like, yeah. They do the Hereditary thing where it's, like, the dollhouse perspective. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of, like, set up like theater staging almost.
Yeah.
So, like, little touches like that are, like, really cool.
There's a lot of, like, weird, like, Dutch wide angles in the movie. There's a lot of, like, just the framing in general is just much different than a lot of, like, random family movies I could think of. And I think that's why most people like this movie. Like, it's genuine and heartfelt, but it's also, like, well made. Mm-hmm. And I think, in general, it's pretty funny. I think the second one's more funny. There's a couple moments in the second one I, like, laughed out loud. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the jokes in this are, like, cute. I like this recurring security guard character they have in both the first and the second.
Yeah.
He's just like, I'm so horny right now.
Yeah, he's really attracted to men.
Yeah. Because they have... two instances in this movie where male characters dress in, like, drag as a disguise. And the first movie being the father and the second movie being Hugh Grant. Mm-hmm. And each time he's just like, God, that woman was so fucking hot. He literally is just like, so fucking hot.
Yeah. It's like, that was the most attractive woman I've seen in years. Like, he really gets into it. But he's always trying to turn them in. He's like, oh, those heartthrobs, those, what are they called? Femme fatales? Or else. Fucking, but yeah, fucking, yeah, I like that stuff. I like this movie. Both of them kind of remind me of, like, One Piece, because he's just, like, a wholesomely chaotic character that everybody just eventually is just like, all right, whatever, fine. Like, they kind of fall into the groove of his, like, chaos and wholesomeness. And I like that aspect of both films.
I think my main issue, if I were to have an issue with this one over the second one, is, like, everything that happens in this movie is mostly just, like, Paddington being a fucking idiot. And he does that in the second one, but I feel like it's only that in this one. And I'm not really a fan of, like, the trope where it's, like, the character's just not believing him. And I'm like, come on. While the second one is like, oh, they don't believe him, but his family does. Like, everyone around him still does. They're like, he wouldn't lie. That's Paddington. I'm like, fuck yeah, it is!
Yeah.
But overall, I think this movie's delightful. I really like the like family bonding. I love scenes where it's just like the father is just like, you have to go through me. That's our son. I'm like, hell yeah, that's Paddington.
I like the dad quite a lot because he's like, throughout the movie, he's like, when you first meet him, he's an asshole. Yeah. And the whole time, you're like, if this is like your first time watching it, you're probably just going to be thinking like, oh, this character's going to get like divorced or like fucking shenanigan off into the sky or something like. But no, it turns out that he comes from a place of just like caring for his family, and I like the reveal that he used to be just like a fucking like badass biker dude.
Oh, I won't let us change with you. Watch out, there's a fucking baby. Get the fuck back.
Yeah, like the second she's like, what? She's expecting the bike to be out there. She's like, what happened to the bike?
There's a minivan.
Yeah,
it's a very neutral color.
But so I liked that aspect.
And then there's like fun character growth where he's like returning to like the roots of who he was. I like the scene where Paddington's chasing the guy who stole the wallet, and he's just doing it on accident. He's like, "Oh, you forgot your wallet, dude."
Yeah, and then it turns out caught a big major thief who's been stealing from that shop for years or whatever. Not years, but a while. Yeah. A few weeks.
It's just very, very fun, very heartwarming, easygoing. I think the first 3 minutes are like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But Peter Capaldi's in it. Mm-hmm. He's in both of them. And this one, even this one, I like his little character arc of like, oh, we don't want this guy. But he's like, well, I don't want him to die.
Yeah. It's like, that's a little extreme.
Yeah. To show that the only real, like, evil one in the movie is Nicole Kidman. Because she's just like, I'm gonna murder this thing.
Mm-hmm. And she gets community service.
Working at the petting zoo. Getting shit on her. Fuck you.
Yeah. Don't fuck with Paddington.
Don't fuck with Paddington.
You mess with Paddington,
you mess with all of us.
I'm genuinely surprised there was not a line like that in either of them.
But there are moments that are pretty, like, close to it in this one and in the second one, to be sure. Because he has his whole neighborhood posse, and they're like, go get Paddington.
Yeah. We're tired of Peter Capaldi bossing us. Yeah. That bear was the only source of authority we needed around here. But, yeah, Paddington 1. Cute.
Very cute.
You would give this an 8 out of 10.
I would. You would give this a 7?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Now let's talk about the movie of the fucking decade, Paddington 2.
Yes. Paddington Goes to Prison.
Paddington Goes to Prison. It's so funny to me that this seems like an arc they would put in, like, like a 5th movie. Like, we're running out. Let's fucking send him to prison. No, 2nd movie, send him to prison. Hugh Grant is he's like a weirdo, washed up actor. He's like, I won't work with anyone. Mm-hmm. So I need to make money to fund my one-man show. I think this movie is pretty much better at every degree. I think it's funnier. I think the direction is better. I like the villain much more. I like the villain in the first one fine, but it's much more of like a character in this one. Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know if I'd say I necessarily enjoyed this one more than the first one. I think they're both about on par for me. Because the villain, not really a major difference in it for me. I definitely see your point. Because it's more of a character actor in this one. I must say, I think the reason why I would favor this just comes down to, like, preferential shit. Like, I love that Paddington goes to prison and then just converts everyone there into a wholesome do-gooder.
It's delightful.
Yeah, like, he goes there and, like, accidentally puts a red sock in with the wash, so, like, all of their, like, white and black striped jumpsuits turn pink. And then, like, he goes up to the cook, because he's been feeding him, like, sloppy oatmeal for, like,
10 years.
Yeah. And then he just is like, hey, could you, like, maybe make better food? And he's like, what? I'm going to kick your ass. And then he accidentally gets a marmalade sandwich in his mouth and falls deeply in love. And then he's like, all right, I'm going to hire you and you're going to make marmalade for lunch and breakfast and dinner, presumably. Yeah. And then that happens. And then basically, just all the prisoners are super nice now. And then they're like, hey, we know you're innocent. We want to help you clear your name. So we're going to bust you out of here. Meanwhile, his family's also trying to clear his name on the outside.
But they're like, they're going to eventually forget you. And then the next day, they're trying to clear his name and they forget to visit him. And he's like, no. And I'm like, no, Paddington. Oh, they're trying to...
Yeah.
Like sobbing at the TV. Like, no, not my boy Paddington.
Yeah, so...
He goes to prison just because he wants to get a present for his aunt.
Yeah, this whole thing's over a pop-up book that was stolen. And apparently it's like an antique, but it's also a treasure map for some old fortune teller's treasure. So that's why Hugh Grant wants it. But Paddington just wants it because he thinks it would be a great gift for his auntie.
He just wants it for wholesome reasons.
Yep. And so the whole first part of this movie, he's like got a job as a window cleaner, and that's some good wholesome fun too. He's not very good at it, so he just starts getting himself wet and using them as a rag to wipe the windows himself because he can't carry the bucket because it's too heavy.
See, like that one, they have the big mess up where he shaves the judge's head right at the beginning, like the first job he gets. But then he starts washing windows, and he he messes up, but then he overcomes that. He learns. I'm like, this is fun. And then it's a cute little scene, and he gets this weird old colonel who is suffering from PTSD in his house to look outside the window and fall in love with the bird woman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty nice of him. And then he goes to jail.
Then he goes to jail and he makes everyone's lives better. And then it cuts back to his home where everyone's just their lives just fucked up now.
Yeah.
That woman's like, I'm sorry I didn't get my car. I'm fucking...
Yeah. Like everybody that he interacted with in the mornings, there's a guy who locks himself out of his house every day.
Paddington always like, your keys! And he's like, my keys? Oh! And this time he's like, no!
Yeah. He breaks out of jail, and then it turns out the three prison mates are actually they're like, nah, we're leaving. We want you to come with us though, but we knew that if we told you the truth, you wouldn't have. He's like, well, I'm not gonna go with you. So they're like, okay, bye. So they get on a plane and get out of there. And then, basically Paddington reunites with he calls his family, and then they're like, we figured out it was Hugh Grant because he's a washed-up actor. Not Hugh Grant in real life. I mean, kind of, but not really. He's still in stuff.
I mean, he's in Paddington, too.
He's in Paddington.
I think he said something like this was one of his favorite movies he's ever acted in.
That's fair. I can see why. It's like Paddington 2, a bunch of romantic comedies.
I think those were also probably fun.
I'm sure they were whatever.
I would love to be in we should make a romantic comedy about me and you falling in love and living together forever.
I see. But, yeah. So Paddington is like, oh... He says a quote from the book, and they're like, that must be the station. I don't know if that's how it happened exactly. I'm paraphrasing, but... Yeah, so they go...
Well, they say until where dreams become true, which is what was on the piano, and they're like, the piano must be it. Oh, they're leaving today from Paddington Station.
Yep.
Whoa! That's what he was named after.
Yeah. Because his bare name was too hard to pronounce for most people. That's...
very disrespectful.
Yeah, not cool. So Paddington rushes to the station to meet his family, and then they all, basically, Paddington gets on the train, but they don't. But it's okay, because J-Dog, I don't remember his actual name.
I think it was Justin.
Justin?
Yeah, it started with a J. It was either James or Justin.
I think it was James. No, because their last name is Brown, and then his name would be James Brown.
Jonathan. Jonathan. He's like, my name's Jonathan, and I love steam trains.
Yeah. It's like a ASDF movie. But yeah, he So he starts a train, and then they catch up, and then a few of them hop over. It's like the dad, the nanny, and then the daughter. And then they get caught. Then they get a picture of Hugh Grant after he gets the book. And Paddington, meanwhile,
is drowning.
Yeah, he gets locked in a train car that Hugh Grant, like, separates and sends on a different rail path, and it ends up launching itself into a river. And then the mom goes down there and tries to save him, but she can't get him out. Paddington's, like, down to his last, like, air bubble.
And then Knuckles McGinty comes back.
Yep. Then those prisoners come back, and they save Paddington, and then they get absolved of all their crimes.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, and Paddington wakes up from a 3-day coma, just like Luffy after Alabasta. I just finished. I don't know if I mentioned, we finished Alabasta and got partway through Skypiea. And
sweet.
My Matt's watched through. But yeah, so Paddington is free. Hugh Grant goes to prison where he does show tunes for the rest of his life, presumably. I don't know if he was given a life sentence. I assume he was for stealing a pop-up book and blaming the world's most wholesome bear.
Yeah, they're like, what the fuck's wrong? There's a couple moments in this movie that just make me fucking die. Like, when the nanny, Ron's mom from Harry Potter, when she...
Oh, that's her.
Yeah. When
I didn't even make
she, like, looks directly at the camera and she's like, actors are the most evil, despicable people on earth.
They lie for a living.
It's classic. The scene that literally all of us just started laughing really hard at was, I think it's just how good how well delivered it was in the timing of it. But, like, the husband does not believe the wife at all, over and over again, but then she sneaks in and he sneaks back in, and they find evidence of it, and he's just like, we were right. And she just looks at him, and it just had me die. It was just so funny in the moment.
We were right? Yeah. That was a pretty good part.
But yeah, I love this movie so much. I love the scene. I love train scenes. So the final confrontation being on a train, I'm like, hell yeah! And then the scene where Patty is running away, and you just see Hugh Grant just like casually walking on the train. I'm just like, this is the greatest shot I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, it looks great, but it's also just very funny that he's just like, I'm chasing a bear.
Yeah. Paddington 3. Do you think he'll be a big bear, or do you think they're going to keep him small?
I fucking hope he's not a big bear. He's got to stay.
It's been 5 years.
Yeah. And I mean, the kids are literally, because they're like early high school now, so they're adults now.
Yeah.
Time skip. It'll be about Paddington Jr.
No, they'll do the typical, like, it's been a few too many years since we last did a sequel to this kid's movie, so we'll just have the mom have been pregnant in between films, and there will be a new kid.
No, I would fucking hate that.
And Paddington will have to cope with being an older brother.
I would fucking hate that.
I don't know. We'll see. It depends on who's writing it, I guess.
I think he's still attached to write it, just not directed it. Paul King's the one that's doing the Wonka movie with Timothée Chalamet.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which sounded atrocious, but both these movies I think are directed pretty well. So, maybe it'll be okay.
They're pretty, they're both well directed, and he does a good job capturing kind of like whimsy, so it should be good for that, as long as they get rid of the Oompa Loompas. I feel like that.
I think that's like a major, because I think it's a prequel. I think it's about how he meets them, which sounds rough.
Yeah, that's an aspect of the Willy Wonka story that has not aged. Well, it didn't. It wasn't well back then.
Yeah,
but who knows? Maybe he'll like just offer them jobs and they'll unionize under him or something. But
I figured out what our romance movie should be about. You play Elon Musk, I'll play Grimes.
Oh, there we go. Pierre can play the baby.
Archangel 12 or whatever the fuck.
Dude, I don't know. I think didn't they get forced to rename it?
Did they?
I think they
had another kid, didn't they? It was like Jonathan. I don't know. I don't pay attention to Elon Musk of all people.
She bought Twitter.
Yeah, I bought Twitter. I made a stupid fucking tunnel. Never heard of a bus before.
Yeah. But Paddington.
Paddington too.
Paddington too.
Yeah, I love this movie. And at the end, they bring they couldn't get the pop-up book, so everyone in the neighborhood brings Aunt Lucy, and I was like, yeah, I was losing.
I bet she stays. There's no way she goes back to the Bear retirement home. Although it does seem pretty nice. Every time we see her, she's just sitting on a porch. La, 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 la. But yeah.
Yeah, I think this movie captures like whimsy extremely well. It's just delightful to watch. It's funny. It looks great. Mm-hmm. I think Paddington looks really good. And yeah, I love this movie. I think it's like the best family movie I could think of. At least like in this vein.
Yeah, I mean,
besides like a Serbian film.
I don't watch a whole lot of family movies. So.
That's fair.
Stuart Little.
Stuart Little 2. Remember what?
Yeah, I do.
We gotta watch Stuart Little 1 and 3.
We do.
Not.
I mean, not next week, but soon. Well, yeah, you would give this movie a 10 out of 10.
I would. I think you're just gonna sit at a 7 again?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm Thomas. I like movies.
I do. I do like movies. What up? I like movies, but movies I only give a 7. What's the deal with that?
What's the deal? All right. So we said it was going to, 5 or less. We're just going to keep it up every time. So if we don't get it this time, it'll be 6 or less. It's 10. So next episode, it'll be 6 or less we'll do it on.
Okay.
Okay, what are we watching?
We're going to do another horror original versus remake.
Paddington 1 and 2?
What? We're going to do... Yeah. Keep that face. It's pretty on the money. Night of the Demons and Night of the Demons.
Didn't you say both were kind of bad?
Yeah.
Why the fuck?
Because I just watched The Evil Dead and we already covered demons. So I need more demonic possession movies. I almost picked the Evil Dead remake and Drag Me to Hell, but I figured Evil Dead Rise comes out later this year, so we can just do like Evil Dead remake and Evil Dead Rise in like one video eventually.
So Night of the Demons by Kevin Tenney from 1988, and Night of the Demons by Adam Gierschach from 2009?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And rating 2.4, huh?
Hey man, I could have given you Night of the Demons 1 through 3 as well, but...
Would that have been better?
No. I never even finished the sequels. I never saw the third one. I got like 80 out of 90 minutes into Night of the Demons 2 and absolutely nothing had fucking happened. So I was like, why am I watching this horror movie?
I've heard pretty good things about the first two. But you didn't you thought the first one was okay? Is that
I thought the first one is okay. I think there are definitely likable aspects to it. I think as a whole, from what I recall, it's not the best.
And you've already seen the remake, or you have not?
Yeah, I think I've seen it twice technically, because I saw it once when I was a kid, and then I watched it. I think after
you need help. No.
After we watched The Church, I watched through like both the Demons movies.
I've been thinking about The Church lately.
Yeah, The Church is a good one.
Yeah,
I got it on Blu-ray. I don't even have the first 2 Demons movies on Blu-ray because they are more expensive Blu-rays, but I will eventually get those. But yeah,
I mean, I might like The Church more than the other 2. I can't remember I remember liking both Demons 1 and The Church. And I don't remember thinking either of them were great, but...
I think I like all 3 of them enough. I don't think...
The church has the guy from fucking episode 1, right?
Yeah. The prince...
Like Captain Panaka?
Yeah, I don't know the guy's name. But yeah, one of Queen Amidala's, like, guardsmen. At least I think. He was always standing next to her in the movies. But, yes. Night of the Demons.
Cool. And then we'll have a deep dive from you.
Mm-hmm. Be careful with that tone. I might pick something bad.
Do it. You're going to be like, what is the worst? You're like, all 10 Hellraiser movies.
I'll just make you watch all 8 Howling movies. And then I won't rewatch any of them.
Fuck you. You know, maybe we should do all 10 Hellraiser movies. Because we've covered... What big ones have we covered? I watched Friday the 13th on my own. But we did Nightmare.
We did Nightmare. We did Halloween.
We did
original versus remake for Texas Chainsaw. We haven't done any of the sequels.
We gotta do original versus remake of Texas Chainsaw, or we gotta do... I was gonna say we gotta do an original remake on the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre again, and the new one, but I realized that the new one is a direct sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Which so is 2, and so is 3. And so is...
3 is not a direct sequel.
I think... Is 3 not a direct sequel to number 1? I thought it just takes... I thought it just doesn't care about 2 on that one.
The original quadrilogy, they're not really connected. Like, once you get to, like, 3 and 4, it becomes, like, just kind of like, I don't know. There's people in the woods. Leatherface is there, but the assortment of his family members becomes more muddled and non-cohesive, and they're just more random slasher movies. The third one's not very good. The fourth one, I really like the second and fourth one, because I think the second one, it's much like Gremlins 2, where it's like the director coming back and he didn't want to make it, so he just made a comedy instead.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fourth one is like somebody did that, but they didn't know how to do that well, so they did it badly. And it's got Matthew McConaughey and
Renee Zellweger.
Yes. And the sequel has Dennis Quaid, so. And Bill Moseley, who is always a fun guy to watch.
Do you mean Dennis Hopper?
Did I say Dennis Quaid?
You did. And I'm like...
That's because
Dennis Quaid would have been really young.
I was talking with my roommate earlier because I was like, oh shit, I gotta pick something. And I almost picked a double feature with Dennis Quaid, which would have been Enemy Mine and Inner Space.
Damn it! I've been meaning to rewatch Enemy Mine since... Because I've only seen it once and I was a kid, and I couldn't fucking figure out what that movie was for years. I was like, the fuck was that weird movie where like it's an astronaut crashes, he gets enslaved, but then becomes best friends with an alien. The alien gets pregnant, has a kid. He carries the kid around. That movie's wild! Yeah,
it's a little strange. It's certainly a little strange. I saw it once when I was a kid as well, but I had it on DVD. And I still have it on DVD. It's sitting at my apartment, just on my movie shelf, so. But, alas, we are not watching Inner Space, which I think you'd like. Have you seen Inner Space?
No, but it's Joe Dante, right?
Yeah, it's Joe Dante. It's got Dennis Quaid, and it's got Martin Short in it. It's about Dennis Quaid shrinks in a little tiny submarine and goes into Martin Short's body. And, yeah.
Kind of like, we can do a double feature of that and Osmosis Jones.
There we go. Perfect. But no.
And the Rick and Morty episode.
Yes, the Jurassic Park one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But Night of the Demons.
Alright, well that'll sure be a movie.
Yep.
And we'll be back next week. Aren't you excited for like a month from now when we're sitting in here, it's like 100 degrees again?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun.
I'll be naked.
Ooh.
Alright, bye everyone.